going to... Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ball Busters. We are the Ball Busters. I have with me today Daniel Talbert, Talon Morgan, Caleb O'Brien, and one Matthew Craniker as your host for this episode. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell in the corner so you can get updated on our content whenever it comes out. Today we like to talk about a couple different things, but I think we're going to start off with talking about Friday the 13th because it is Friday the 13th. We did a little recap before this episode about all the kill counts and everything going on in there. Shout out to kill counts. Everyone loves them. But I think we'll start off with everyone's favorite kill from the first 4 episodes of Friday the 13th. We'll start with Dan.
My gooch is blue.
That's not healthy.
My favorite... So, are we going movie or kill, did you say?
Kill.
Kill? My favorite kill in the Friday the 13th series would probably be... That's not an easy one. I'm probably going to say part 3, the spear gun to the eye. I don't know why that one impresses me so much. It could be the sound design. I don't know, it's just the sound of him shooting the spear from where he's standing to, like, right in her fucking eye, and then, like, the face she makes. Like, you can tell it's a dummy head. I don't know. I thought it was funny as hell.
That's very fair.
Tom?
Well, for me personally, I've got to say it's the wheelchair dude who gets the machete to the face.
He just goes down all the fucking stairs.
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly it. It is so impressive how many stairs he goes down without fucking tipping over.
Yeah, with a machete in
Yeah,
his
like,
head.
he is a corpse. How does he not flip over and just, like, tumble down? Like, impressive.
It's fair.
I think, honestly, I was going to say the wheelchair as well, but to be original, I'll say it was Jason dying at part 4. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of nifty, kind of seeing, like, this big, immortal kind of guy almost. Like, for those, like, 4 films, the dude got fucked up all the time, and he was just walking around fine. See him get killed by a kid. It was kind of interesting.
And then watch his fucking face slide down a fucking machete.
Mm-hmm. That was brutal, for sure. I think my favorite one so far was the shower kill. Just how he crushed the dude's head. I mean, it's just so cheesy and, like, kind of looks like silly putty at one point getting pushed through your fingers, like the eyeball and stuff. I think that the CGI they used was non-existent, so they had to do it all in practical effects, and well, they did a good job on some of the stuff. Some of the stuff was god awful. I can tell the cleaver was plastic.
You can see the dummy heads a lot in this series.
Or, like, you can tell what's about to be broken in, like, the background a lot, or, like, if, like, someone's arm is about to get cut off, it'll just be, like, different, like, looking than the rest of their body.
Or if you notice when the one lady got thrown from the second story window, that was, like, definitely a dummy, no doubt. Like, you could just tell how it bounced off the car, that there was no life in that effort. He did have a point, though. In the first one, when they killed that snake, that was definitely a real snake. So
oh yeah,
we just saw a murder of the first kind.
They just kind of fucked that snake up.
Yeah. Do you think I had to take that more than once?
Doubtful that the
Luckily,
first...
there was just a bunch of snakes nearby.
Actually, in a place like that, yeah. Yeah, honestly, though,
New
like...
Jersey.
Yeah.
So, like, no snakes were harmed in the making of this video, except for, like, 13 or 14 of them.
They took all of the extras from Snakes on a Plane.
Dude, I wish snakes on a plane.
No, they're all from the Indiana Jones movie when they fell in the crypt.
They were all the ones that didn't get adopted.
Dude, how many snakes do you think just got fucking pummeled during that, like, movie just because they accidentally bit Harrison Ford and it sent him into a rage? He was just like, and I started beating snakes
I'm
down.
just imagining Harrison Ford ripping snakes in half.
Just use it,
I mean,
like,
are you telling me
he's
you
just
wouldn't
using
try
them
to
like
buy
whips?
Harrison Ford?
dude,
I mean...
that's fair. yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'd buy Harrison Ford.
I know you
I'd
would.
bite him with a lightsaber. It worked out for another guy I know.
I wanted to bite him
You
after
kinda
that
look
last
like
Indiana
him.
Jones movie.
Eh,
That was fucking awful.
What is that, Crystal Skull?
No, yeah, that was the Crystal Skull with the aliens and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love aliens and things like that. That's not what I expected from Indiana Jones. It's never been an alien type of movie, you know.
Yeah, it's certainly.
And George Lucas is like, I want aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens! I like
Aliens!
Star Wars! Aliens!
You know what else I want? CGI aliens.
He's like, I want a Chinese person to play Russian.
I want ants to destroy Nazis.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's probably the greatest idea he's ever had, if you're asking me.
I don't know. The original Star Wars is pretty good. Although it could have been shit. It's one of those saved
No,
editing movies.
I don't know why people think it's the worst, but Phantom Menace, I think, was one of the best episodes ever made. Liam Neeson.
I think George Lucas is a fat retard.
Yeah. Really watch that movie again, man.
I have. I've watched it. I watch it yearly. I watch all the Star Wars saga in order yearly. It's a tradition. Same with War of the Rings. I have to. It's one of these things. Around Christmas time, I watch all the Star Wars, and around like the beginning of summer, I usually watch all the Lord of the Rings.
Matt, now I'm not. I'm not judging. But like,
judge all you want. I don't care.
that's a fucking
thank
terrible
you.
opinion.
Okay, why? Why? Is it the midichlorians that you don't like? Is it the CGI you don't like? Is it the story?
It's just like the fucking entire
CGI.
story, in my opinion, because it felt like they had something that they were going with, and then like they tried being funny with it at the same time, and then
Yeah.
they
But-
introduced
but,
the
like,
Gungans
it
in
had
such
no
a weird,
audience.
stupid
Oh,
fucking
you
way.
leave Jar Jar Binks alone, or I will
It's
bitch
not
slap
even.
you.
It's not even necessarily Jar Jar Binks. It's just the entire Gungan species makes no goddamn sense, and
What
how
do
they're
you
still
mean?
alive.
Okay,
and
They're
whole
swamp
story
dwellers.
makes
they're all fucking
okay.
dumb as shit. How
No,
do
they're
they still
not.
exist? Yeah,
They
were
are
fucking
not. They're
dumb
advanced
as shit,
as
dude.
fuck.
They were dumb as shit.
Jar Jar's dumb as fuck. He was kicked out for being dumb as fuck.
Jar Jar
Possibly
is
a
Tell me the
Sith Lord.
plot. Tell me the plot in
Phantom-
2 minutes. Only 2 minutes.
In Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
There's a phantom and he's a menace.
This is one motherfucker.
introduced
man.
Jedi Order. Jedi Order goes out,
Cookie.
goes out to do
Cookie.
Jedi Order stuff. Gets stuck on planet. Planet has kid. Kid turns out to be
quarter.
somebody important. Kid decides to do amazing acts that earns the Jedi's trust. Jedi's trust goes to a way where they take the kid. The kid goes along on the adventure, ends up saving part of the day. Part of the day is also saved by a young Obi-Wan Kenobi and then a deceased Liam Neeson. Or Qui-Gon Jinn if you would prefer, but I still call him Liam Neeson because
I'll
it's Liam
try
Neeson.
spinning.
But
without
besides
learning
that,
it, dude.
other than that, we have a cool space battle. There's a couple explosions. There's pod racing. There's midichlorians. There's some force. There's a lightsaber battle, and ultimately somebody gets cut in half. So, tell me again how that's a bad movie.
So, have you actually seen the
The
movie?
fact that it
Cardboard
takes that
acting.
long to explain. Like,
That wasn't even 2 minutes. That was 50 seconds.
okay, fair, but
Alright, you want me to give you a brief explanation why I
Okay.
hate it?
I don't know what the...
Kid Anakin, for one. Kid Anakin was the dumbest fucking acting choice they could have decided. I think, okay, but first, before I continue my rant, I hate the fact that child got so much shit in his life because of that acting role.
Yeah, that's...
It's so
that was
fucked up. But,
That's totally wizard, Annie.
well, and then just little things like that. It was just so stupid. The CGI, I had no problem with the CGI. I didn't necessarily even hate the Gungans. I just thought they were so fucking stupid for some reason.
They
I
are.
still do. I think it had some really cool battles, though. Like when the Gungans were fighting the droids near the end and shit like that, and the big space
They're all
battles.
broken.
But Kid Anakin, specifically, I don't know why, made me hate that fucking movie. Like, Kid Anakin was just so annoying.
I never really paid attention much to him. It was always the space battles and the Gungans for me. They were my favorite part. Again, just, like, different species, cool tanks, droids, and explosions and shit. As a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing. And, again, Liam Neeson, because he's one of my favorite actors, for sure.
I think one of
Up
my
there with
favorite
Jason Momoa.
my favorite things in Star Wars, though, just because it shows how expansive, like, the universe and, like, all the races are, like, perfectly, is when they're going through the ocean, though. And you see all the different big-ass species, and they keep eating each other and shit.
There's always a bigger fish.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. But off subject, we probably will have another episode on Star Wars down the road where we will
Star Wars is gay.
get into the...
Dude, you don't even watch...
Anyway,
Dude, you
back to
don't-
what we're talking about.
You don't even watch stars battle each other.
I'll blow a fat load into your hair if you don't settle down.
What do you mean? Starkiller Base blows up a planet.
Dude, the title is misleading.
True.
It's a bunch of battles.
Starkiller Base
the
is
hell is the war
misleading. It
even
didn't
about?
even kill a star. It just killed some planets.
No, not
How
the
do
newest
stars
one.
get into wars?
That's what I'm saying. They don't explain that.
No, I didn't watch the newest one. Kind of looked like shit to me.
Rise
I hated
of
the fact that
Skywalker?
they were introducing Sith troopers.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't have a problem with Sith troopers. I hate that they were introducing them.
What do you mean? Wait, you talking about the new 3? You're talking about the new 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by Sith troopers? Do you mean the
Sith
Knights
troopers,
of Knights of Ren?
No, the red.
Oh, the
literally
Imperial Guards you're talking
No,
about.
the ones that were literally just red stormtroopers. That is not a Sith trooper. Sith troopers are supposed to be like people meant for hunting, for like
No, I
Force
thought those were
users and
just
Jedi's.
elites. They never call them
it's-
Sith troopers.
They're Sith troopers.
They just call them like upgraded stormtroopers.
No,
pretty
it's
much.
it's literally Sith troopers. Like they even call them in the movie. Like I know they do because I've seen the clips. Like it's fucking awful. Like they took like some cool deep lore shit and just kind of regurgitated it and said, "Here's a new type of stormtrooper."
Where did they bring these? Because they had the Imperial Guards.
They have him show up during the Rise of Skywalker after they just introduced that Palpatine is the person. I watched the clip with my mom
That's my
because
issue
they
with
got
the
fucking. They got
Oh, you're
fucking,
talking about the newest news. I was thinking of
Yeah.
the first one,
No.
like the first of the new 3. and I was like, what are you talking about?
No.
There's like they battle Imperial Guards on the ship of the Stoke shift. That was a cool scene.
That was
I
Last
think-
Jedi. That was
I've
episode 8.
okay. Honest opinion, my favorite 3 will always be the second 3. You know, Attack of the Clone, the Anakin series. Partly because that was my generation, but I have to give credit to the new generation of Star Wars for the fact that I actually legitimately enjoyed all 3 movies, and there was parts where I wasn't happy, and Disney, didn't have to do what they did. Like, spoiler warning, like when Kylo Ren and Rey kiss for no fucking reason. Like, there was never a sexual or relationship type of bond. You got like a brother and sister kind of feel from it, but we all know how they feel about incest in this trilogy.
I always thought she was gonna end up with like Finn or something like that. They kind of just what the fuck?
No, I think she is gonna end up with Finn.
I don't
Finn
know.
loves
No,
her,
their
for sure.
series it's done. It's done after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what you
God.
think.
Well, no, at least this story. They're not literally all this. They literally no. They don't have any of the
Yeah, but
writers.
I know, but they set it up for another one at the end of it. And I'm like,
I'm
why?
sure they
Well,
will.
I guess
but-
they set it up to continue the Star Wars story, which, like Mandalorian, I'm not sure if anybody's been caught up on that, but that has been a pretty spectacular Star Wars show.
It's been pretty good from what I've seen. I much more appreciate it than the new trilogy. I like The Force Awakens. I had serious problems with The Last Jedi and have not rewatched it since theaters. And then Rise of Skywalker, I just kind of refuse to see because
should see it.
they had such little faith in Kylo Ren because of how underwritten he was that they had to revert to bringing back Palpatine. That just kind of shows, like, not only does it show damage control, it shows complete lack of faith in the idea that the new trilogy could be brought
I
back
think
on track.
that they've been hinting at Palpatine for a long time, though, because it was like the one person you.
Really?
Well, yeah, because even in the first one, there's like, I can't quite remember what it was, but I do remember like there was something that like when you rewatch them again, knowing who's who, you're like, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Like, why she's here, why this is going on, and why people are dicks to her, and like why, like, and she has like in like the first one when she touches the lightsaber, she has all these all like this force vision, and you can hear Palpatine in part of it. I'm pretty sure, or you hear something about it, and like it's just one of those very subtle things that you just don't get until you know the full story, which again was why I thought it was a good one. But I digress. Star Wars we could talk about. I could talk Star Wars all day long.
I think it was an idea that they took from the books and executed horribly because Palpatine like returned in like the original like lore and like but in his body was a clone and like all that shit, but it was the fact that he was so much more of a threat and shit like that. Like it felt like they just kind of crammed out him like last second, and they just kind of had this fodder character brought up like as the main villain, like 2 of them actually. Like
he didn't play a big role in the last one. He was in it for like 10 minutes.
Exactly.
He wasn't
the
he
thing
wasn't
is,
the
though,
villain. He was just part of the.
But that's not. You're not letting me finish my point, man. Like I'm saying, they advertised it to be literally like this is Palpatine. Palpatine's the bad guy. Here's the big movie's going to be about Palpatine being the bad guy. Like, they hinted at it super hard. Like, it was going to be this big thing. And then when it came out, it was like nothing. He was in there for literally, like you just said, 10 minutes. Like, that was dumb as shit. I don't think he should have been in there to begin with. I think they took a good idea and, again, executed it poorly. Like, I think it could have been a lot better. I think there was good things in it, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's like any of these movies are completely irredeemable garbage. Like, I just think there was a lot of dumb story decisions.
Jason X.
Yeah, exactly. With, like, Jason X, you know, like, that's exactly how I feel. Like,
it was garbage and meant to be garbage.
it's garbage, and it was meant to be garbage. But these movies, you know, like, it feels like they put a lot of effort into them, and they just fucking kind of had to rush a little, or they did rush, and they kind of did a lot of dumb shit.
But I do respect your guys' opinion and everything, but I can't quite take it 100% seriously until you watch it, because you both said you didn't. I know
all of them up to the last one. I
will.
I just want you to watch it so then I can kind of explain why I think that they did a really good job with the last one, and why I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first and second one of the new trilogy. Force Awakens was good, but the last one really, there was a couple moments where they really just like touch base, touch home, brought Star Wars back to what Star Wars is about. You know, kind of like that space age Star Trek-y, Battlestar Galactica, you know, like out of this world, bigger than life picture thing that happened. And, you know, no one's ever going to be happy with a movie or with a TV show or with a reboot. You know, there's always going to be people that don't like it or don't want to see the new stuff because they're in the old ways, and that's fine. That's just how people are sometimes. But I just think before you can truly put this label on the movie, you do have to watch it for yourself and then put the label on it, just because it's unfair to judge it without actually seeing it.
I mean, I'm not like dogging on it like in that way. I'm just saying I have personal issues like with what they did like to try and fix The Last Jedi. That I will see Rise of Skywalker. It's just like I'm putting it off, and I really am
I've watched
quite okay with that.
Probably about 85% of the movie. I just haven't watched the whole thing.
The last 20 minutes are so cool, though. Like,
don't
care about story-wise.
Like
don't give a fuck about the story towards the end, but, like, the fucking, like, graphics, CGI, and special effects.
Well, no,
like, in the theater, dude, like, there's this lightning blast moment that, like, shook the whole theater, and I was so fucking high. I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen. The Sith at almost full power on screen for like the first time we've actually seen like somebody use the Force for a devastation event, you know, like a cataclysmic kind of Force power, which is, you know, I'm an old public player, and I think Caleb is too, you know. We like that old lore, the Darth Bane and stuff. The idea that, you know, you can use the Force to destroy a whole planet. You know, it's that powerful if you become good enough at it. And that's, I think, was a cool concept that they threw in there. But you guys are right, too. They did cram a lot into a little to try to fix something that didn't really need fixing in the first place.
See,
it need fixing. It just...
When I say I think it was a good idea executed poorly, keep in mind it's because, like, they did have, like, the fact that they've had in, like, two different universes for Star Wars where it was, like, Palpatine returned, and it kind of hinted at the fact that he was actually a lot older and shit like that than he was being, like, an old Sith, actually. He just is able to keep reincarnating in one, and then in the other, he's a clone. He just kind of, like, has taken multiple clone bodies. That's why he's so powerful. And I think they could have easily taken that idea and ran a mile with it, with that fucking movie. Like, they should have introduced it, like, earlier and shit like that. They could have made that movie so much crazier. Like, they could have put so much more of what made it good, you know.
Star Wars, you know.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, too.
Do that instead of Snoke, if you're just gonna...
They should. I think the Snoke thing...
There should have been a cool battle with Snoke.
I think the Snoke thing could have been a great idea, except they should have got to the point where they were about to kill him, and then all of a sudden, like, they just got frozen there, and it revealed that Palpatine was controlling the whole thing from the back.
That would have been better. A lot better.
Yeah. Well, in the comics, too, you know, when Snoke finds Kylo Ren, you know, like when he reaches out to him and stuff, he's not in like Sith wardrobe or anything, you know. He's just in regular robes and really chill dude, and he kind of has a really creepy, almost borderline rapey relationship with Kylo Ren, and like kind of a father like relationship. And then, you know, then they go on to make the Knights of Ren, which are Imperial guards that had to do more, you know, had to become even better and shit. And like there was a bunch of stuff that could have, you know, that they really like I will say this, you know, in the newest one, the Knights of Ren are so fucking weak, it's embarrassing. Like those guys are supposed to be the most elite, you know, force of the you know, of the High Order, not the High Order, the First Order, but they just like he just dispatches of them like in seconds, and I'm like, that's no, like even in the comic books, like they'll kick the shit out of anybody, like they don't care, like they're fucking tough, you know, but it's its own thing. But I always will remember from the earlier ones is when Palpatine just becomes so fucking ugly after Mace Windu gets him with the lightning and the lightsaber thing, you know, and throws him, like when he throws Mace Windu out the window, just like he goes from a normal looking old guy to this butthead looking fucking troll.
Dude, his
like
face
he
really
gets
looked like
like,
ass cheeks.
I crack up every time I see it because I'm like, dude, you got some chapped cheeks,
Dude,
bro.
so I've like sat out in that hot tub for like an hour and came in and like looked at my ass cheeks in the mirror, and they kind of look like Palpatine. Like his face or this big power cheeks.
Save the one.
Save me, Anakin. Dude, I do pretty good. I do a pretty good impersonation of his pain sounds. Help me, Anakin.
Though in Attack of the Clones, let me tell you what, it's the same thing I do in Lord of the Rings. Is I skip through Treebeard parts and I skip through Anakin parts because I give no fucks about either of them.
God, he's so cardboard in that fucking movie too.
Dude, Anakin in that one is just so like. You're right. It's so bad, and I'm like, I don't care about your fucking relationship. Like you're banging this chick. We all know. Everyone knows.
Bang, okay.
Like
Just do it.
Even Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, I know. You know, he even has told her in like you watch the Clone Wars. He's like,
quit sucking dick.
Yeah, he's like, I see you two are like comfortable together, and like he's like hinting at it. He's like hint, and she's like, no, and he's like, you know.
Make sure to bag it.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, Anakin, you'll fuck us both if this happens.
She's pregnant. Are you fucking kidding me?
Also, I'm surprised C-3PO never spilled the beans. He's a real fucking narc, if you ever noticed.
C-3PO can suck my ass.
He probably would.
Honestly, he is one of my most annoying characters of the whole fucking series.
I feel like C-3PO is secretly really racist. I don't know why. It's just the fact that he's so smart. I feel like smart people are more racist.
He's just kind of a punk bitch, in my opinion.
I can
Okay,
deal
but
with
who's your
him
favorite?
in A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. Beyond that, I pretty much agree, and I don't think I don't think he had any place being in the prequel trilogy. Because if you think about it,
What about our homie R2?
No, R2's
R2's cool. Fucking, I have no problem with him being in the prequels. I don't think C-3PO should have been, because if you think about it, in The Empire Strikes Back, when they freeze Han and Chewie's carrying C-3PO on his back in pieces, wouldn't you think Darth Vader would look at that and be like, hey, can I have that back? I made that as a kid. I'd like to have that back.
No, because I feel like it would be a reminder of like when he was good.
Or at least say something about it.
True.
C-3PO.
True. Okay, but here's another question. Like, so you never see them in Phantom Menace take C-3PO. They never take him, but like Anakin also, I don't think he ever says he went back to that place until he was older.
No, he didn't. He went back in episode 2, and somebody had worked on
had like finished C-3PO. Like, I'm like, in reality, that would have never happened. They would have let that thing rust. Like,
yeah, that's pretty true. So many problems with the prequels.
Yeah, but I mean, like, low budget, starting off, it's...
The prequels?
Or wait, no.
Those were the big budget ones.
Were they?
Yeah.
Not the first one, though. The first one was scrapped together just as much as they could get, just because it was, it wasn't anything big yet.
This is still more of a budget than 4, 5, and 6.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
This is just because of how expensive things were back then to make?
That
Animation and shit?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
that and Star Wars wasn't really popular until like Return of the Jedi.
No, isn't it crazy to think if you go back like 100 years, ask somebody if they ever like about Star Wars, the only person that's going to know anything about it is going to be the guy in the bookstore. Isn't that weird to think about? But nowadays, as you mentioned Star Wars, everyone knows at least Yoda. Or Baby Yoda nowadays, at least.
You can thank pop culture for that right there.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a prime example of pop culture. I feel like most people, like not most people, but a lot of people who know about Star Wars definitely learn about it through like a fucking toys and shit like that, or like seeing like comic books or cups, you know.
Like a lot of people have seen the movies, but there's also just as many people who haven't seen the movies, and it's kind of surprising when you talk to people, especially people our age.
Yeah, like, I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, and you're like, really? Like,
no, every time I tell them the same thing, I'm like, you, me, take a day off, popcorn, all Star Wars, happening. Just like, it has to happen. Like, I don't care if you like it or don't like it, you have to see them. It's something you have to do. It's one of those things. It's part of our generation. It's part of our culture. Like, I reference Star Wars more than I can even think about on a daily. But who's everyone's favorite Star Wars character?
A good guy or a bad guy?
Doesn't matter. Your favorite
Vader.
Darth Vader.
I would
General
say
Grievous.
Chewie.
I'm
General
gonna agree
Grievous.
with General Grievous.
He's so
Mace
fucking
Windu,
cool.
dude. After I
Mace
saw
Windu's
Samuel
close
Jackson
second.
play his character, dude, he just like it was one of those like Nick Fury kind of characters where I'm like, dude, this is a cool this
He's
is a
a
cool
fucking
character.
badass.
He's an actor.
He's
now.
a close second for me. He's like honestly one of my favorites. He's just such a badass.
I just like his lightsaber. Honestly, that's my
purple?
favorite bit about him is the fucking
General
purple
Grievous?
saber. No,
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. Oh,
yeah.
You know why his lightsaber's purple?
There's some lore behind it. A lot of people think it's because he walks on both light side and dark side of the Force.
No, it's literally because Samuel L. Jackson
Wanted a purple lightsaber. Actually, no. Now that you say that, I do remember that. And you know, that's awesome that they did it. For him.
Yeah.
Dude, I guarantee that fucker has that same hilt on his wall right now. Like to this day, he probably has that like same movie prop
One
on
of
his
them.
wall.
There were a bunch.
There was a bunch, yeah. But
Yeah.
like there's one from almost every scene. But you know, speaking of Anakin though, and Darth Vader being Anakin, and like you know those moments where he like starts to have his humanity back. Have you ever watched Star Wars Rebels?
No, I heard.
haven't.
Isn't it the same
I've
dude who
been
did the
wanting
Clone
to,
Wars?
though.
Yeah, it's just a little different animation. It's a little brighter animation. But anyway, there's a scene where they go to Korriban, like where they're kind of like I think they're on Korriban or going towards Korriban, and like Ahsoka, who's a gray Jedi in that one because she's already been kicked out of the Jedi Order, but she still is a good person, good creature, and she wants to do good by the universe. So she becomes a gray Jedi, which still uses the Force and lightsabers, but doesn't claim Jedi or Sith. Ends up helping the Jedi, the young Padawan that's trying to escape from like the First Order kind of bullshit, or not from the Empire, and they come to this fucking awesome dome thing, and as she's trying to leave, she just sees Darth Vader walking behind him, and then they have this like whole like Master Padawan talk, and she gets some hits in on him too, and slices part of his helmet off, and you see like his yellow eye and his like signature hair and like his face behind the helmet, and he just like. You never know what happens after that because like the doors close behind him as they're dueling. Like you see this awesome like duel going on, and like there's just like things she like force pushes the kid out, and then like it closes, and then you don't know what happens. But it was pretty cool because it was just a confrontation of like Anakin with like somebody that he really did care about, his Padawan and everything, which I thought was a really cool concept.
I gotta check out the shows. I think the only one I've ever seen was like the traditional 2D animation Clone Wars that was in between episodes 2 and 3.
Well, was that the one by Gonovic? No, the one that made that new Primal TV show, right?
I'm not entirely sure. I just know that it was like traditional style, non-CGI animation.
Yeah, dude, I remember that.
That was the one where they have like
sure.
really
It was
long
2
necks and
volumes.
shit. Yeah, I have those
Yeah.
somewhere. Those were the coolest. You saw
Those were
Enchantress
good.
for the first time, and like you saw Mace Windu kick some fucking ass in that one. I love when he's on the hill, remember, and like the kid gives him water. He like chugs it, and then he like fucking bolts like off the hill
Yeah.
like onto a tank.
Yeah.
I remember those, but that was Chervosky, I think, Genovic Chervosky. Either way, the man who animated those 2 Clone Wars made a new TV show on Adult Swim. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but it's called Primal. It is fucking
yeah.
awesome,
Dude, that shit is so fucking cool.
It's emotional. It's cool. It's funny. It's a story, but there's no words. No one talks. they're screaming, grunting, and throwing, but it's a caveman and a dinosaur dude being buddies and fighting off other evil shit. Like, it's in the same style as like Samurai Jack, but with that Clone Wars cover over it. It's really cool.
That sounds fucking
Yeah, the
cool.
animation is so fucking awesome.
Dude, like I watched the first season and I was blown away. I was like, that was probably one of the coolest 6 episodes TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it just he literally like just took an idea, a story, and he made it. Adult Swim gave him the money to do it, and he did it in his animation style that he wanted to do it in, and it just looks so cool.
Adult Swim. So would it be on Hulu?
It might be.
Well, at that point,
I don't
can you
think
just
it
go on
is.
to adultswim.com?
Yeah. You could probably find it on adultswim.com, though.
I'll show you.
Matt's like, I can do the research. Are we pulling up the trailer?
Yeah, I want to pull up the trailer. It's sick. Travatsky. It's a weird name.
Tartakovsky.
Is that how you say that?
I think so.
It's Grenadine.
Or Tartakovsky.
Yeah, just watch
Tartakovsky.
this. But it's the same kind of art style that we did with that. Dan. Kids in your cell phones.
No, I was just double checking to make sure it's the same guy. It is.
Yeah. No, I remember that because in one of the trailers it tells you that too, and I was like, no shit, I haven't seen.
Totally looks like it too.
Oh yeah, it's that like you said, that 2D.
Yeah. Like reminds me of like rotoscope, but also anime.
It's a real kind of American anime kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, it's Western animation.
Kind of has a Trigun feel almost to it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it again,
Very angular.
I kind of feel like I'm watching Ark all over again. It kind of feels like we're watching somebody just play Ark.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that scene on Facebook when he was just like, all roided out on that shit.
Yeah, it's if you haven't seen Primal, the second season just started and it's a must watch. I mean, if you're somebody that enjoys animation and somebody that enjoys something cool and new, it's cool.
super good to know that dude is still getting work, because that Clone Wars, I mean, I'm sure the newer one is great. I've never really looked into it much. I've heard it's good. I really did like that older Clone Wars show.
I remember watching that so young too.
Yeah, I had the
yeah,
DVDs,
dude.
like, because I was waiting for episode 3 to come out.
Same. Oh, that's where we see that fucking bounty hunter. I don't remember his name, but he
Jango
looked.
Fett?
No, remember the worm guy? Like, he has the fucking steel mask.
Dirge?
And comes on the bike and, like,
Yeah,
he
that's
just kicks
Dirge.
the shit out of people.
Yep, that's Dirge. Dirge is fucking crazy
Was
as
it
fuck,
Dirge?
dude.
I
Yeah,
thought we were
it's
talking
Dirge.
episode 2 first.
Dirge is fucking nuts. You're talking about in the fucking animated series, like the old animated series?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dirge.
The only
Yeah, see? Him. Remember him?
Dude, Dirge is fucking OP as fuck.
Dude, this guy's a fucking dick.
Okay, we can't play this whole
Oh,
thing
yeah.
though.
What was the
Well, I was
name of the,
thinking...
what was the name of the one
that's pretty
character
good.
with the 2 red lightsabers who had like a white
Ventress.
face? Ventress.
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 Yeah, I saw it.
She's still around. And she's one of Count Dooku's assassin Padawan things.
Makes sense because she had like the curved lightsabers. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and she's a witch is what they call her, but I don't know. Her story's weird.
That makes sense.
Her and
Christopher Lee
Grievous
was a wizard.
Yeah. Well, her and Grievous are always fighting too for like the power, like to be Count Dooku's favorite.
I don't see how Grievous could win. He's literally just a fucking half alien, half droid.
Yeah.
There's like not much else to him.
Exactly. That means
Grievous has been through a lot, though.
Yeah, he's fucking, like, solid. Like, A, he doesn't really have mortality.
Yeah, okay.
B, he's like, half droid, so
just generally an
smart
excellent
as fuck,
swordsman.
good at, like, just
Yeah,
not
before he
necessarily
became
taking orders because he gives orders, but like
before he became a
game planning
cyborg.
and
I mean, wasn't he one of the best? Like, he was the last
being
survivor of his
overall
planet or something,
reliable.
wasn't he?
Some
Or
shit
his
like
his
that.
tribe.
He-
I remember
he was
his
like
tribe
he
got
was
like
a really
massacred by I think Jedi or something.
The Republic shot their ships out of space, out of the air, or some shit like that. I can't remember exactly. And he was aboard, and that's why he ended up becoming robotic.
But before that, didn't they actually fuck with his mind too? Like, didn't they make like that first build him pretty much a bounty hunter robot almost?
They based the Magna Guards off of him, I'm pretty sure, or some shit like that. And he fucking hated them. That's all I remember. They kind of like definitely made him hate the Jedi more than he probably would have initially, though.
I remember the Jedi had it was a conflict between the Sith and the Jedi. I think that caused his planet to suffer, or tribe. I don't remember for sure if it was a planet or tribe.
All right, like somewhat related, kind of unrelated sidebar. If y'all had to choose like which side of the Force you think has the cooler like Force abilities and like what you can utilize the Force to do, which side do you think has the cooler
The Sith,
attributes? I guess is
the Sith have a little bit more flashy attributes in a sense, but the idea that in order to become better you have to kill your master is a very flawed system. But I get why. It's because only one person can wield the full amount. If there's more people, it's like an outlet. The more people on your Wi-Fi, the slower it runs. So the more people using the Force, the slower it runs. But at the same time, I kind of like the Jedi too, because they don't have the lightning or anything, but they can still do quite a bit with the Force. I mean, like, you saw how Yoda just absorbed the shit. Like, the lightning hit him, and he just made it into a ball and threw it back.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Could even catch another. Well, not a Jedi, but he could catch like a Sith's lightning power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
throw it back.
yeah, it was cool.
Did you catch my question while you were away?
No, I really had to piss.
That's okay. I had asked, out of the two sides of the Force, which one do you think has the cooler, like, powers or abilities that you can harness the Force to do?
The Sith, truthfully. I don't know. I kind of like the eye candy it gives way for.
Yeah,
That's
no,
weird.
I feel that. I totally feel that. Honestly, like, personally, I like the domination that comes with the Sith powers. I really like that it's just super assertive in your face, like, I have power, I'm going to demonstrate it.
Has no limits.
Yeah, it has no limits, like, what are you actually going to do about it other than submit to me? Like, I think that's fucking cool. I think that's really cool.
I think the funny part is, Disney and Hollywood, and the movies and stuff make you think that the Jedi are, the perfect order, the good guys. But if you actually look at the books and look at the history of Star Wars, the Jedi have genocide, have destroyed a couple civilizations and people. They were they're slightly worse almost than the Sith in some aspects. They just kind of they're almost like, if you think way back in the history of humanity when the Spaniards came to Central America, they just invaded, took everything and inbred and bred the people and everything. It's kind of what the Jedi did to some planets too. They invaded it and forced their law, what they thought peace and stuff should be, when it's not that planet's beliefs. And they didn't follow with it. They were like, well, we're gonna wipe you out in the name of the Force, kind of thing. And it's like religion in a way. And I get that's kind of where that's where George Lucas kind of gets. I was about to say that, and I was like, wait a second. But I think that's where George Lucas gets a lot of his ideas too, because he did, it was about the war and a lot of stuff to do with politics and stuff. And
the Jedi during the Old Republic era literally genocided the Sith race out, like literally genocided them. there's not a single one left in the galaxy, but they were born entirely out of the dark side of the Force.
Because the Sith was just a race chilling, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. They
Before
taught the
anything.
first Jedis and shit that met them. That's how dark Jedis came to be. And then they got genocided, like pretty brutally, honestly. Their home planet was blown to pieces by the Republic, actually.
Is it weird that I think that the Force is real in a way?
I mean...
Like, maybe not the mystical aspects of it, but the idea of like... Because, like, the religion of the Jedi, I guess, is kind of a good one.
Do you mean like the... Well, at that point,
It's like karma. The idea of karma, too, and destiny and shit, you know. I don't know about destiny, but, you know, the Jedi practice is some part, being biased and shit. And
I think at that point you're starting to tiptoe on the line
Buddhist.
of like spirituality, and yeah, I was going to make references to like Buddhism and like the belief of energies and sort of the path that certain energies take and the belonging of those energies and recognizing those. I think that's about as
Christian faith too, a little bit.
yeah, I guess so a little bit, but the Christians they just kind of like dip their toes into it, whereas Buddhists and a couple other like Middle Eastern and a few Asian beliefs like they really fully commit to the idea of like your energy is like your destiny, like what you put into the world is what you manifest for yourself. And even aside from that, like just you existing, you have some sort of like outright destiny and I guess sort of like limitations that you can reach, and whether or not you do reach them is sort of like a you matter. And I guess that's sort of in relation to whether or not you discover that you have the Force, or like you choose to utilize the Force, or you decide to be one of the people who's like, no, that's not my life, I don't want to be a Jedi, I'm gonna just vibe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I draw Christian comparisons because of the... Not necessarily because of the Jedi's falling in love rule, but more so the implications that come with it, and also... So, like, equally how, like, when Jedi, like, are reincarnated as a spirit, it's like reincarnation, but it's also, like, this idea of, like, watching over your loved ones after you've passed on, that people like to believe when it comes to heaven, or whatever. So, it just kind of borrows from, like, more than just religion, but, I mean...
No, I get that.
Hot tub time.
What were we talking about before Star Wars?
Friday the 13th.
That was
We
it?
got way off subject.
That's fine.
But this episode will just
I
be a
know what
Star
we're gonna
Wars.
title this. Anyways, guys, let's talk about Friday the 13th. Star Wars is shit.
Let's talk about Freddy Cougar. Freddy the Cougar.
Let's talk about Freddy the Cougar. Dude, literally when you said that, like, I couldn't figure out why it was wrong, but my brain was just like, I know it's wrong.
Honestly,
So
dude,
for all of our
my
listeners
favorite.
that don't understand what's happening, earlier when we were playing some video games, we were talking about Friday the 13th, and I was like, hey, is that the movie with Freddy the Cougar? Because I got confused on movies. And I've never heard Caleb laugh so fucking hard in my life.
Honestly, that laugh brought me so much joy. It kind of, like,
I thought
that
I
right
might
there was
kill
enough for
Caleb
me
for
to
a
say
second.
that today was a good day.
I haven't felt that much dopamine rush through my body in, like, how old am I? 22?
22.
I'd say probably about 21 years.
Dude.
Damn.
To say, does anybody have any final thoughts on either Friday the 13th or Star Wars?
My
before we
final
wrap
thoughts
this
are
up?
Jason's
that-
a bitch.
I'm also going to be 22 in 3 weeks. You guys should help me figure out what we should do for my
Talon's
birthday.
a bitch.
Talon is a bitch.
Smoke all the crack.
Let's just take a bunch of edibles.
I make all the soundtracks, by the way. Follow
No, he
my
doesn't.
SoundCloud.
Bird boy.
I make
Weird
all
boy.
of them. I make all of them.
You guys can also check out my OnlyFans. I'm going to be streaming me and Caleb fist fighting, possibly to the death. I'm not sure. It might have an impact on the company.
If I shit on my knuckles and punch you, does that do poison damage?
No, that just gets me a little harder, so that
Yeah.
might...
Afterwards, Talon squashes
That's
strawberries
okay.
with his bare feet.
No, dude, afterwards I'm waffle stomping.
Well, I guess if you want to see any of what happens next, please tune into the next episode. Don't forget to have a great night, to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and we will see you next time.
We will dip in the hot tub ass wipes.
Shitty ass cheeks. Shitty ass cheeks.